Welcome back to Light Beyond the Ashes, the podcast where science meets spirituality and awakening becomes embodied. I'm your host, Amber Humphrey. In this episode, we sit in the presence of Jeanine Fiedler Braceland, a soul whose light grew brighter the moment she chose love over fear. Janine's awakening unfolded through courage, the courage to speak her truth, to release the weight of other people's expectations, and to trust what she had always felt and known deep within. As she honored herself, her intuitive gifts expanded, a quiet inner knowing that arrives without explanation, a felt sense in the body that whispers truth before the mind can catch up. Claircognizance and clairaudience, ancient wisdom awakening through lived experience. She shares vulnerably about family addiction, heartbreak, and the sacred work of forgiveness, not as a bypass, but as a profound act of love. Through her journey, Jeanine came to understand that every soul is making the choices it needs for its own evolution. And in that understanding, she found peace, not by fixing or saving, but by loving without fear. If these conversations are helping you feel seen, understood, or gently expanding your own consciousness, like and subscribe so these stories can continue to meet you right where you are. This episode is a gentle remembering that awakening isn't loud or flashy. It's quiet. It's brave. It's choosing love when fear feels safer. It's letting your light shine even when your voice shakes. Welcome to Light Beyond the Ashes, the podcast where we talk to spiritually awakened souls who have had to navigate their own personal hells to rise from the ashes and find their own light within. And we have so many wonderful guests that we've interviewed so far. This week, I am so honored and excited to introduce my friend, Jeanine. She's going to tell us a little bit about her story and, what she does in her real human life. And then she's going to talk about what it's like to be a spiritually awakened soul and her journey through the awakening and any gifts that she might have received or discovered along the way. So thank you so much, Jeanine, for being here today. I'm so excited for the viewers and listeners to get to know you more. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how you found yourself here.
Okay. Well, first of all, great intro. I
Thank you.
love your intro. That is
Thank you.
wonderful because now we all can speak freely because that's what we're here to
Mhm.
talk about. So that's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Thank you.
So how did I get to where I am right this second?
Well, how did you're on the podcast right now. We're talking about
Yeah.
our feelings and talking about our stories of
Yep.
going through our dark nights of the soul and being spiritually awakened. Were you just living a regular schmegular life like me and then you woke up?
Yeah.
Or
So
what's your life like?
yeah. So okay. Mine wasn't instant. It's been
Okay.
a slow, gradual since I actually feel since I was a kid.
Wow.
So I didn't wake up instantly like you did. I was listening to something that you had recorded saying that yours was pretty instantaneous. I think it was in 2023.
Yeah.
And it was like boom for you. Well,
Mhm.
for me, when I was a child, I always felt like there was something missing. I always felt that the world wasn't the way it was supposed to be. And one of the things that always drive me crazy as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult is just the way life is. Life is hard.
Mhm.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And I've always known that. I've always been the type of person as well to not follow rules very well. We grew up Catholic, heavy, heavy Catholic, went to all of the days of obligation, which means there's like a lot of holy days. We just don't go on Sunday. You go through
Yeah.
the week and whatever. I would go to rosary groups with my mother. We were very, very, we thought at the time spiritual. We were really heavy Catholic. I always felt there was something weird about that. Not about the praying, not about the beads, because we use crystals and so on. It wasn't about that. For me, it was more about, for me, it was more about how can there be a loving God that punishes?
Mhm.
And I always thought it was strange that we just go to church and recite and recite and recite. And there was no connection. And that's what was missing. But I didn't realize any of that because you just do what you do.
Right.
Right. So then I have two children. They are now 21 and 19 when my son Blake, I don't know if I should really talk about this, but my son Blake got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was 13 years old. And I remember this so clearly that probably a couple months ago, I would look at other people that had children with illnesses and thought, how blessed am I that I don't have a child with an illness. So he got diagnosed, and the poor kid was 13. He just started a brand new school, very insecure. Um, and this didn't help, having to wear a pump and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So he started self medicating. And at that time for him, it was pot. Then in 2022, so this was 2019. So this was a period of time that was, there was a lot of struggle trying to help Blake with his diabetes, which maybe we suffocated him, um, with not understanding why he was acting the way he was acting, not knowing what he was on. So there was a struggle. In my childhood, I didn't have any struggles. I was very lucky. So I wasn't one of those people when I woke up or I think we're all still waking up because there's a
Right, we
lot
are.
more to learn. But I feel that um, I I didn't really have to go through the dark night of the soul as much because of my childhood.
Mhm.
But everything that happened in my 40s and 50s um, is when that's when I really woke up. So that happened with my son, and then in 2022, by the way, my dad was sick during this whole period.
Mhm.
And so, juggling the kids and being in my dad was in the hospital for months and months and months and months and months, 2 hours away, we would sleep over. So it was a lot. In 2022, he passed, April. 9 days later, my father-in-law passed. 1 month later, my mother-in-law passed.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then 3 months later, my mother passed.
Oh my gosh.
So within 6 months, we lost our entire generation, basically.
Wow.
And my kids lost all their grandparents
Yeah.
so quickly. So that's when my son started doing really hard stuff at that point. Um, so it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't something instant. Yes, all of that negativity helped. I remember sitting on the beach. My mother was in the hospital and I got a 3-day break. It was like the biggest thing because she was in the hospital. And I'm sitting on the beach and I was reading a book. It was called The Untethered Soul. And I read the line, we're all humans. Excuse me, we're all souls having a human experience.
Mhm.
That's when I looked around the beach and I'm like, shit, like, that's so true.
Yep.
We are all souls having a human experience. So that was 2022. And then my curiosity just skyrocketed. I,
Mhm.
just like everybody that goes through an awakening, and I don't want to generalize, but I feel that everybody I've ever known just wants knowledge, wants information,
Right.
wants to know the truth. Um, so that's basically what I've been is a truth finder. I know I'm here to spread love. I know that I actually can understand what people should do for the rest of their life. And it's funny, you and I were talking right before we started the podcast that I don't know exactly what direction I'm going to go yet, and there's many I can do. But if I talk to someone for 5 minutes, I can feel what they need to do, what their
Mhm.
soul needs to do.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so that's a little synopsis.
Yeah, I think it's so funny that you said, also the power of a book, right? The power of a few words, like just boom, snapping you open.
Yes.
I talk about this in my episode, which was so scary to film because I was by myself.
Uh,
And it's just the evolution of when I filmed that to who I am now. It's just, I've come a long way. And I'm still like, my throat is still going through some trachea clearings. That's why I'm like kind of coughing and, like clearing myself from time to time because
oh, that's all right.
speaking my truth is also something that was scary for me to do. So please pardon me as I continue to work through that fear.
No, I
But
love it.
my friend Madeline told me on that day that I talk about in the video, January 13th, 2023, I was like crying, feeling everything. It was like guttural screams and cries in front of family, like kids running around. Like I could not stop it. They told me to come over. They're having a pizza party. And I was like, I'm not well. They're like, that means you need to come. And I'm like, what kind of love am I about to step into? They made me feel so safe. And
Oh,
I'll never forget when she reached across the table and held my hands. I had just met her. Like I only met her like 2 or 3 times at this point. But the compassion and kindness that she showed me, and she held my hands and she goes, "Oh, honey." I was crying and I was like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." She goes, "Oh, honey, you're just a human having a human experience." And I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, I am. This is what it's like to be a human, is to feel deeply and profoundly and to
yes.
release it and to not be stuck in stuffing it all down because it's not socially appropriate to be crying at a party with everyone hanging out, right? Like they didn't care
And why
about,
not? Why is it not okay?
right.
This
Like
is what right. Okay, continue.
no, but seriously, like, and I feel like I was even showing my children and other kids and other people that were there, like, you're safe in this space, in this group, in this tribe, you're safe.
Yeah.
And, those were the people in those early days who helped save me and get me through those when you're falling apart, you're crashing out, whatever you want to call it. Um,
Yeah.
but I was just feeling, and I think that people don't understand that when you're going through an awakening, it's usually tied to burnout or it's tied to deep emotional pressure and stress. And like my mother's in hospice, my grandfather's in hospice. And when you're in this for a really prolonged period of time or something jolting like that happens, it makes you kind of rethink everything. You get off of autopilot and you're like, I have to be present. My body won't let me not be present anymore.
Yeah.
So when your father was sick and then everyone else started passing, do you feel like that just accelerated, put like the kerosene on the fire and was like,
But
oh,
absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely did. Um, yeah, and you're numb too when you're going through all that.
hmm
And I was not a very good person at showing my emotions. Um, but I did a reading with somebody and she
hmm
said, "I see that you need to cry when you need to cry."
hmm
So I do, and I let feelings just flow through me now. And talk about a human being a human. That's the
hmm
way it needs to happen. Not just sadness, but happiness and frustration and whatever it is. You've got to feel the feeling. That's why we're here. We asked to come here to feel.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that. That's kind of the whole point. It's not to work your life away, do all the check boxes that you're supposed to do as a human and like accomplish things and hoard money and then pay taxes and die. Like that's not what we're supposed to be
Ugh.
doing, but that's what we're
Ugh.
doing. I know it feels so gross too. You're like,
Ugh.
this doesn't resonate with me anymore.
No.
And it's like, I really do feel like we are getting to this point collectively, like worldwide. You're seeing it happen across like the world. It's not just America where this is happening. This is that global grand awakening that we've been promised that
It's
we've
so exciting. It
it's
is
so
beyond
amazing.
exciting.
Like to see it happening and to know that people don't yet know that that's what's happening.
No.
Like this podcast has been in the works for forever. Like I had another one previously and I loved that and it was beautiful. But it stopped back in 2023 and life went
Oh,
on and I was working really hard with my company. And then I was told the whole time, you're going to speak, you're going to speak, you're going to speak, and you're going to have a podcast. And I was like, okay, when and how is that going to happen? When am I going to have time? And then all of a sudden God's like, you can't wait. They need you. And I was like, yeah, but I'm still like my throat's still getting clear. Like I'm not quite ready yet. And I
you're
didn't
so ready.
you know what? Like when I'm in it, I feel ready, but like the build up, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna meet another stranger. We just know each other from TikTok.
But no, see, that's the thing. We know each other. I
hmm
mean, we have the same thoughts, the same drive. And
Yes.
that's what brought us together.
Our souls remember, even if our
Oh,
human like hasn't
100%.
met each other, like our soul and our soul family is reuniting. And it's so amazing. Like, I don't know if you've seen, I go to these bestie weekends and we like have these wonderful groups of women that come together that are healing. And I've got a few of them coming on and they'll be interviewed too. So it's very exciting. And
So
in
exciting.
that space, I feel so loved. I walk in the door and I meet a stranger, quote unquote stranger, who I've only seen through a screen or never seen at all,
Right.
and my soul immediately connects. And I'm like, "Oh, there you are.
It's so
I've
amazing.
never knew I didn't have you, but now I have you. I can't let you go."
Right.
And it's just
So remember
beautiful.
a second ago you said our souls know. So
Mhm.
do you know that I wanted to say that? But I hold back because I never know who I'm talking to.
Mhm.
I'll be in a group of friends and I can't say what I really want to say because I don't know how it's going to be taken. And
Right.
that's that's what I need to stop caring about.
You do. We all do.
Yeah.
We all must because that's where the authenticity gets stopped, right? Like
Yeah.
you're listening to a conversation, you know that you have something to contribute, you know that you have a higher perspective, not because it's better or worse than.
Right.
It's not comparative. It's a
Right.
different frequency. And when you can see through programming and you can see through the illusion, you want to share what it is that is in your mind. But then the societal norms of that's going to be weird, that's going to be woo woo, what are they going to think about me?
Right.
Holds us
Right.
back. That's the reason for this podcast is
Right.
because I want to normalize the human awakening process because it's just natural. Like, do you feel like you're finally in your natural state now that you're awake?
100%.
Yeah.
And
Everything
now
else
that I'm
felt
talking to you as well,
yeah. Everything before
you
felt
know,
unnatural and abnormal and like forced and
and
oh,
frustrating. And
yes.
yeah. Yeah.
I,
So after I woke up, I didn't mention this. Um, we have a company. Our family has a company that my dad started in 1983. It's a computer company. And I've worked on and off at the company. And I was there for the past 12 years, not knowing that I was going to go back to doing that. I was in corporate America prior. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I
mhm,
just can't. I love everybody there, but I can't do this. This is not what I'm here to do. So I
mhm,
just quit. I
yeah.
mean, I gave notice. I was kind, don't worry. But I just said, this, I'm done. And then
Mhm.
2 weeks later, I went on a woman's spiritual retreat in Arizona. I didn't know a soul. And that's when I felt like now I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
When you were in Arizona, did you get more connected to spirit? Did you get more connected to yourself? Like, how did that manifest for you?
So I was already going through that process. So this was 2024, 2024. What's today?
Today's
Oh my God.
September.
Today's 2025. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, it was September of 24.
So a whole year ago today, pretty much.
Yes, it was a year ago. And I was working toward that. And actually I was following a woman on TikTok. Her name was Kate. And she mentioned that there was going to be this trip. And I said, oh, I have to go to this. You just know. Another example is I've always had a pull to go to Egypt.
Mhm.
Um,
Me too.
like a deep desire, and I'm going in 10 days. Don't know
Oh
a
my
soul.
god.
I don't know a soul. And flying halfway around the country, around the world.
Yeah.
It's for 14 days, and I have never been so excited for anything in my life.
I am so excited for you. That's gonna be
Thank you.
life changing. Like,
Yes.
are you able to go into any of the resonance chambers and, like, because I
Yes.
know you can sit in the king's chamber or something like that
Mhm.
and get the resonance, and
Yes.
I had the TikTok history teacher on, Tony, a few weeks
Oh,
ago.
oh, I love him.
I do
Oh,
too.
yes. I just ordered something that he was suggesting, a, PEMF
Yeah, the PEMF device,
machine.
the vibe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
just got it last night. How funny.
Oh, and he's got music on SoundCloud and Spotify. It's The Awakened, The Awakened history teacher or something. I can't remember what it is
Yeah.
on SoundCloud, but it's so amazing. His music that he's making, it's all through vibrational frequency resonance. That you can listen to it in the car. How he was saying is like to have your windows down a little bit and have it like playing loud. And that
Yep.
frequency is just like in the body, heals the body all the way through at the cellular level. I'm like, oh,
I'll
I
have
love
to
this.
pull that up.
Yes, his music's amazing. But his history teaching is also amazing. And he talks about the resonance chambers. And we were talking about, vibrational frequency and
Yeah.
Egypt. And that's one of his
Yeah.
special interests. And so I think it's just so incredible that you get to go into this like sacred space that it's not just tombs for dead people.
No.
It's literally healing. They're healing
Yes.
power centers. And we
Yes.
just have not been told the truth. And so the fact that you love finding out the truth, like when you go there, you're gonna get activated. I just know you're gonna get
Totally.
activated.
I can't wait. So I guess, this tour that I'm on, we go in privately to the King's Chamber, and we can actually we're gonna meditate.
Oh
So
my god.
I know, I know. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. So going back to, Arizona, Sedona, I had been there before, and I felt something when I was there.
Mhm.
I forget how long ago that was. So this time it was really about learning for me because the woman who runs it, Sarah Ashley Wheeler, um, I mean, she can just talk to God, basically. She's unbelievable. It's just like,
Mhm.
and I learned so much for her. I cried the entire weekend because I knew I was where I needed to be, and I felt like finally. I didn't cry
Mhm.
for any other reason except for I was so relieved to be amongst people that understood me, and it was the first time that I could talk freely.
Mhm.
So that was the feeling there in Sedona, although it is a very spiritual place.
It is, and I've never been, and I want to go. I feel called to it. Um, I remember the first time that I was in a group setting. It was in Utah. I went to a spiritual bestie weekend with Ashley, your spiritual bestie, and Jesse, and all these beautiful souls, right?
Yep,
And I was able to just like look around and I could speak like I normally would speak with my husband or my one best friend about everything. And
yep,
then they would give me their experience. And I remember like crying with gratitude, not only like that weekend,
yes.
but then for months after. And then just this week, I cried with, more of my spiritual besties. My tribe just keeps growing. And you're now a spiritual bestie. Like if we meet and you're a soul sister or a soul brother, like we're soul family now and we get each other and you feel safe with each other. And it's crazy how I didn't really know you other than through a screen
Yeah,
5 minutes ago. And now I'm like, oh, okay, Janine's my friend. Like, hey, Janine, you ready to talk about weird stuff? Let's do
yeah,
this.
I love talking about weird stuff.
Me
Let's get
too.
deep.
Let's get deep. Let's get weird. My friend's like, you're my friend always calls me. She's like, you're so weird. I love it. Not weird in a bad way, weird in the best way. And I'm like, thanks. Because this stuff it's sacred, it's ancient, and it is controversial.
Yeah,
To talk about Merkabas and toroidal fields and energy bodies and your crystalline light body and Christed consciousness and spiritual awakening and ascension, like you
yep,
look like people will look at you like you've got three heads when you're talking
right.
about it. I mentioned Tartaria one time at a party, a pool party with some
I
family. Yeah,
But that's the
Tartaria is so
coolest.
cool. It's so cool
Yeah,
and it's
the
so real.
coolest.
It's
Yep.
so real, and people were like, "Oh, like Game of Thrones, da, da, da." I was like, "No, no, like Tartaria."
I know, and that's why we just shut up, and we shouldn't, because we have to talk about this.
I know.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
literally though why I'm doing this is because I think every person who is awake has such a beautiful, unique perspective and experience. But then in that, it's very much similar because we're one collective rising
Yeah,
together and awakening together. And we're in the age of Aquarius. We've got Hopi prophecies. We've got all these like really interesting things that are happening in space too.
yeah.
And you're just like, ah, okay, what is that AI Atlas 3 and Swan Comet? Like, what are these things that are happening and disclosure unfolding? It's fascinating,
It's so
exciting.
fascinating. So
Yeah.
it's funny, you were talking about you're able to talk to your friend and your husband.
Hmm.
I didn't really have anybody.
Hmm.
So my sister at the same time started waking up, and she lives across the country. She's in California, and I'm in Massachusetts, by the way. And hi, I'm Janine.
Hi, I'm Amber. I'm from Texas. I love this so much.
So, she was starting to wake up. I felt like I was awake before she was, but she started waking up. So I did have somebody I could bounce things off of. Not a husband, not, well, my daughter, actually.
Okay.
She's pretty, she's all awake.
Yeah,
Yeah. She can see things, and I love that. But it's a lonely journey. It
it
really
is.
is. And if you're lucky enough to have a tribe or just a human, um, you know, I still don't talk to my husband about it all. And now he's yearning to understand my
Mhm.
perspective.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. But I do protect my throat, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, I think that this is a really good step for you. So, why, when you saw my video, did you decide to reach out to me to be on this podcast?
I just knew.
Mm,
That's how I work. I just know. I feel and know. So you asked
mhm,
about my gifts. Those are my gifts. I've been also working with Sarah Ashley, the one who I went to that
mhm.
weekend with, and she's been opening up because everybody has the gifts. Everybody is
Everybody
born
has the
with them.
gifts.
Yeah. So it's a matter of trusting,
Mhm,
and it's a matter of opening up yourself enough to hear.
Mhm.
So, I'm starting to channel, I'm starting to hear, and automatic write,
Yes.
with my dad and my mom, and, um, it's just like any muscle. You
Mm.
just have to keep working it. So
So the when we talk about seeing and knowing, I like to use like the terminology that people are not familiar with because I want to destigmatize it. So what you're
Yep.
experiencing is claircognizance, the knowing,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
clairsentience, the feeling. And so a lot of us empaths already have clairsentience because we can feel when energy is off. We can feel people's energy. You might get
100%.
chills, like when someone's talking to you and they say something and it gives chills up your body, and then maybe you get a thought. Like that is the clairsentience and claircognizance coming, and you're supposed to say something. I just feel so called to tell you this. I don't know
Yes.
why I feel called to say this, but I am being told I have to say this. And then people are like, you said exactly what I needed to hear. And I'm like,
Right.
that's the knowing. That's what this is.
Yes. Yes, you explain that so well,
Thank
because
you.
that's exactly how I've always felt, and
Hmm.
now it's basically putting a name to it.
Yes. And not being afraid of
Mhm.
it. Like,
Yeah,
that's the biggest part of this whole thing, and knowing
yeah,
that we have these God-given gifts and we have our own God-given nervous system to help
yeah.
us regulate, and I think that's a really important piece of the awakening puzzle too, and as an occupational therapist myself, when I started using my tools that I use with little tiny humans on myself during when I woke up and I was having panic attacks and trying to like right before the awakening, I was having those daily panic attacks because my body was out of resonance with those around me that were trying to hurt me, intentionally, knowingly trying to hurt me, planning and plotting to hurt me and take away everything that I fought to build. And so when I could sense it, their words weren't matching what was happening behind closed doors. And I knew it. I felt it. You didn't
Yes,
have to tell me
yes,
anything. I knew what you were doing.
yes,
And then I'm being lied to my face and a smile. And you're just like,
yes.
it feels awful to the
It
human
feels
body.
disgusting. It
It feels
does.
disgusting. And
Yeah,
so once you can finally really let the floodgates go and you just stop pretending and faking it and you're like, no, I will not be in this environment or I won't be with that person anymore because you're making me sick. You're making me feel horrible. That was
yeah.
my lived experience. And empaths who are deep feelers, I'm neurodivergent. I have ADHD. I have complex PTSD, like all those things.
Oh, I don't
And
have that then.
well, lifelong, but ongoing. And
Yep.
any of us who have gone through really challenging things, it's the complex PTSD is that it's a multiple. I would say that you probably did experience some of that with
Oh, I
all the
probably
back to
do.
back to back things happening.
Yeah,
It's the micro things that happen versus I went to war. It's all of it to where it becomes your state of being. And you're just so habituated and used to it, you don't even recognize it as trauma. But when you info dump or trauma dump and you tell people, oh, here's what I went through, people are staring at you. They're like, that was a lot. And you're like, is it? Oh, maybe it is a lot. Like that's that complex PTSD because it's a
you
small
just
T
explained my
trauma.
life.
Yeah.
Mhm,
It's small T trauma,
mhm.
but small T
You did.
trauma, it causes as much damage to the brain as big T trauma, which is going off to war, an accident, a singular event. But that PT, that complex
Yes.
part is the ongoing little micro traumas, even if they're not like small, but it's not what someone else might perceive it as. And comparing my trauma to your trauma, like that's just such an invalidating experience. And it's been tried to use against me like, oh, you've had trauma? Really? Tell me how you had trauma. You had a good life. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's traumatizing to be silencing myself too, right? It's not just someone else
Oh,
did something to me. It was what I did to myself, right? My own silencing that caused me to have that pain too. Do you feel like silencing yourself in this whole process or throughout your life was traumatizing to your body and your nervous system?
I think it still is.
Yeah.
So I have a TikTok, and
Mhm.
I started it a year ago, and I don't post all the time out of fear of what somebody else might think. And
Yeah.
I have changed a lot. I mean, I've grown a lot this year, and I don't feel that as deeply as I did before.
Mhm.
At first, I was all gung ho, and then something actually happened. A friend of ours, or an acquaintance of ours, said something to my husband. What's wrong with your wife?" Right?
Mm.
So I was, and this is somebody that's kind of prominent in our city, and I was like, I wish that, number one, I didn't care.
Right.
And then I also wished that when you signed up for TikTok or YouTube or, not YouTube, Instagram, that it wouldn't just automatically pull all your contacts in it,
Mhm,
because I'm looking for people who are looking for me.
mhm,
And so that's my mindset has changed. I definitely have more confidence. I don't say everything, but it's either I'm just not going to give a crap and
mhm.
just go for it, or I'm gonna tread lightly and grow with it, and that's where I am right now.
Yeah, I deeply resonate with that. I think a lot of people who are listening are going to resonate with that too, because a lot of people are afraid of starting. I have a lot of people who follow me who don't share a single video. They repost things, they like things, but they don't create their own content because probably they're afraid of what people might say or think about what they're experiencing, but they'll message me in my DMs. And so that's why, again, the podcast is like for the passive listener, someone who's afraid of like reaching out, but this is now a platform for them to hear and listen to, like, oh, I resonate with that. Oh, I'm not alone. Oh, I'm not going crazy. I'm actually just getting back to my natural state of being.
Yes.
And it's gonna be so beautiful when this all comes out because I just see your story inspiring people to not be afraid of what people think, because I was so scared. Like, I actually recently shared a video from 2023 that I recorded, and it was like 13 minutes long. I didn't know what I was doing. I had little segments, like part 1 through 4, and I'm crying and my voice sounds different. My messaging is different. I'm very scared. I was so scared to even say the words I said there because my words were trying to be used against me. They have attempted to be tried to use against me in a very serious legal way, and that I'm nuts, right?
Yep. Thank
And
you,
so I
Matrix. Thank
yeah.
you, darkness.
Oh, yeah, it's so beautiful. I love this contrast. I give gratitude for it. But because without it, how do you know the
Right.
opposite, right? But I
100%.
I will say TikTok is where the magic has been, and I hope that it
Me
doesn't
too.
change because it's been such a beautiful platform. I know we'll
Yeah.
find something different if it does, but the censorship is definitely getting worse in there, and I
Yeah.
I I had a video that got flagged for me saying to not be divided after what happened on September 10th. I said, "It is time for us to unite." I said nothing other than, "Do not be divided. Stay united. We are stronger when we're together." And that video got flagged 3 times. It took me 4 times to finally get it to post. And I was like, "What
Yeah.
the heck?" Like, I'm just saying, like, love your neighbor as yourself. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And it's crazy how, like, even that message is threatening.
And, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Today, I'm not surprised. I'm even afraid sometimes, and afraid's the wrong word because I'm really not afraid. I really
Yeah.
don't feel like I have any fear, but I'm aware
Yeah.
that Google's listening to me.
Mhm.
I'm
Everything is.
aware. Yeah, and I'm part of this collective, it's called the New Earth Collective,
Mhm.
and it was started by Heather Bryant. I don't know if you ever saw her on
Mhm.
TikTok, um, an amazing channel, and really speaks her truth. It's just inspiring. So there were 25 of us that started this New Earth Collective, and she
Oh,
runs
how
it.
cool.
And that's finally it's been a place where I can just speak my truth, and the synchronicities that have come out of this group have been ridiculous. And that's life. When you're doing and flowing the way you're supposed to be, the synchronicities come left and right.
The energy, yeah. I feel that
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So whenever you are on your TikToks, do you feel like now you are still holding back, sharing all of the wisdom that you've learned? Or do you feel like maybe after today, you'll have the governor off of your voice and you won't put, a boot on
Right,
your own neck of what
right.
you feel safe to share and what you don't feel safe to
I
share?
hear a challenge in there.
I love it. Do it, girl.
All right, I'm doing it. I
Because
mean,
I think that you have a lot to share.
I have so much to say and so much. I just don't want it to be fluff
Right.
because, like you said just a moment ago, it's not just bright and lightness. And by the
Mm-mm.
way, my tag is shine bright, and
Mhm.
I know that I'm here to help people do that. But at the same time, like you said, without the darkness, you don't know how bright you can actually shine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, did you know
Now
that you
my
can
throat's going.
I know. Girl, we are clearing it, and we are unafraid of clearing our throat chakra
Oh my
because I know
gosh.
you I
Sorry.
work I worked with an employee today to clear her throat chakra, and like big emotions came up, and I work on
Yeah.
tuning forks and I help move it, and the profound emotional release of just feeling present in the body and saying, yes, it's okay. I know it's kind of annoying to maybe listen to me clearing my throat, but I'm doing really big work right now. You don't understand. This is spiritual.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
energetic. Did you
It
know
is.
that if you go in and you turn off where the settings of your contacts see your content first, that your videos will take off?
No. What do I do?
Okay, so you go I don't know exactly where, I'll have to show you and, like, screen share it with you,
Okay.
but when you're in your TikTok settings, there's
Yeah.
like, a little trigger that will say, "Share with your contacts first," and so it's like
Okay.
it'll blast it out to your sister and your friend and your coworker, right? People who are in your
Yep.
phone.
Yep.
If they swipe past your content, like, because 'cause they're not interested in what you're doing or they think it's woo-woo and hocus pocus, it
Okay.
slows down the algorithm from your videos getting out there. The
Oh,
minute I turned it off, my videos hit over 1,000. I was in 300 prison forever. I'm so serious. Like, it's a thing.
I'm in 25 prison.
Oh, man, it sucks when I was there too. I was like, I know when a video's bad when it's stuck at 0 or 25. I'm like, "Well, that one's not going anywhere. Delete, repost."
I know.
It's just
So
frustrating
funny.
because, like, even when you are trying to be free, there is a system or a matrix in place within an algorithm or within your network of people that you think love you and would cheer you on that are not.
No.
And I think that was kind of tough too, was to know that people who I thought I loved and cared for, who I gave my attention and my love to,
Mhm.
weren't cheering me on when I was. When you were
Because they
waking
didn't
up, did you
understand.
yeah, when you were
They don't
waking up,
get it.
did you experience that?
Still today, there are
Yeah.
still people like my husband, there's still people I love and care about who do not understand me.
Mhm.
They know that I'm loved. I
Mhm.
know that we like being around each other. Um, I do have wisdom to give them. They appreciate all that, but I can't go too deep
Yeah. I find that I don't enjoy those conversations very much anymore.
either.
And it's not a reflection necessarily of them. It's just a vibrational frequency dissonance, right? There's a disconnect between their frequency, again, not good or bad, just a different radio station. And it's like that's I think the
Because
best way that Bashar explains it is like if you're at 99.5 and
Mhm.
100.3 and like you're not the frequency is going out there, the radio signal is being played, but you
Yeah,
can't listen to everything at one time. If you could, it would be chaos. And
right.
so when you're tuning in and elevating your consciousness, you're increasing that literal radial dial of frequency. And people do have to rise up in their own frequency to be able to understand the things we talk about. That's what I've
Because
experienced at least.
you're 100% right, because everything is vibration.
Mhm.
Everything is a frequency. Everything. This mouse, I mean, my pen,
The mic.
everything holds yep. My lack of earphones. Um, everything holds a vibration.
Yep.
And that's what's brought into your reality is based on what your vibration is. And
Mhm.
that's
Exactly.
that's a hard concept for people to understand. And I talk about this a lot, even with my friends, that everybody's reality is their reality because of their vibration.
Yes.
What you think is, what you speak is, and
Mhm.
what you expect is. And I've always had that. I know I run at a high vibration. I've always been so hopeful and
Yes.
I wake up in the morning and I can't wait to see what the day's gonna bring. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I have really bad days, but
Yeah.
my baseline is pretty high. And what I expect the world to be amazing. And you know what? Guess what?
It
It
is.
is. It
Look at
is.
us having this conversation right here, right now, and you're clearing your own throat chakra. I'm clearing mine. That's amazing news. That's like the best highlight of my day is that we get to know each other. Like, what
Yes.
a cool thing is that I met a new friend who
Mhm.
gets to talk about something that is exciting for her. And I think that it's so foundational. It's so basic of just talking about your passions and someone loving you unconditionally when you talk about it versus judging you because there's no
Yeah.
judgment when you wake up. Like, I don't judge any soul. Like a soul who's choosing to live a life that I might not agree with or I might not ever
Yeah.
do, A, it's not really my business. But B, I have to think Their soul's choosing that for a reason. There's more soul growth that's required. So narcissists, people who like I've had several of those in my life. And while I have forgiven everybody, they played a very big role in my awakening. And without that narcissistic, covert, overt narcissistic behavior that confuses you and makes you feel small, you never can grow. You can't expand. And once you wake up from it, once you see it, you can't go back. And you're like, "Oh, I will never play that role again. I did not enjoy playing that role, but thank you for giving me the opportunity to know that I don't like that."
There are no coincidences.
No.
Everybody's placed into your life for a reason.
Yes.
And before we were born, we knew what that role was gonna be.
Mhm.
And to know that now, what a gift.
Absolutely.
Even the person that pulls in front of me,
Yeah.
that drives me bananas. Now I just laugh. I'm like, "Well, he must be heading to the hospital, the poor guy," you know?
Right. Right. That's how I view things now.
Yeah, me too. You mentioned that people are brought into your life to show you hardship and to teach you something. And I know
Mhm.
that my son was brought into my life. This kid, oh, I'm sorry. I'll talk now
Sorry.
so you don't have to.
Go ahead.
This kid, when he was born, was special. All babies are special. But he was like a superhuman. It was really strange. He walked at 7 months. He could raise his head when he was born. He started he barely even crawled because he was just walking. Like, he was literally like this big, walking around, his pants were like this big. He could crawl out of his crib at 8 months. He was on the counter and on top of a refrigerator at 1. I mean, he was like
Wow.
superhuman baby, okay? And he just got everything, but yet he had this deep down frustration. And I wish I had known then, in my late 20s and early 30s, what I know now, but there was a reason I didn't, because I had a
Mhm.
lot to learn from him. And now that he's going through this addiction struggle, this is where I have deeply learned to love unconditionally,
Mhm.
to look at his soul and not his human when he's speaking poorly to me, because he's just trying to survive.
Mhm.
And this was a huge breakthrough for me, that I know that I can talk to his soul and say, "What do you need from me right now?" And his
Mhm.
soul always says, "I just need you to listen. I need to be
Mm.
heard." And it's a struggle, because I don't know if you've have an addict in your life.
Mhm.
There he stopped growing emotionally when he started smoking pot at 13, 14 years old. So he can't control his emotions. So I have to be the bystander and not judge him,
Mhm.
knowing that there's something great that's gonna come out of this.
Yeah, and I think that some people who are not necessarily yet awake could see it as enabling behavior, and you're like, "No, I'm just loving him. I'm
I
loving
was
him."
right. I was a tough lover. I was the tough lover. I
Mhm.
put my foot down. I had boundaries that had boundaries that had boundaries. I mean, I
Mhm.
was tough love personified. He went away for 2 years to different rehabs, and I would listen to the rehab facilities because I didn't know anything.
Mhm.
They're teaching me how to handle my baby, and I didn't listen to Blake. I didn't hear his cry and his cry for help, that he knew he shouldn't be where he was. You know, he needed rehab, don't get me wrong, but where he was at the time, being moved from place to place to place, I look back now and he knew, but I didn't know he knew. I thought he was manipulating me because he's an addict.
Mhm.
Every single addict is different. They all have
Mhm.
their own journey. They all have their own sobriety, and not one of them, along with every human in this world, should ever be judged for the way they're handling a situation.
I 100% agree, and I do have a few addicts in my family, and one has gone to rehab as well, and another almost recently went and was able to get the help that he needed and
Good.
found God and, all these beautiful things that happen in recovery. And I know, I don't think, as a an occupational therapist and a trauma survivor. I know that people are always doing the best that they can at every given moment. And it
Yep.
might not be your best. It might not be what you think they should be
Right.
doing. And that's fine. You're not
And it
them.
might not look like it.
Right. It might not look like they're doing great because they're choosing alcohol or they're choosing a syringe or they're choosing a joint, right? Like it might not look like what you think doing the
Right.
best looks like. And that's not what matters. What
Right.
matters is holding space. What
Yep.
matters is knowing that they're hurting because people seek substances because they're hurting. People don't want to be here on earth sometimes because it hurts too bad to be here.
Right.
And I think like I have not necessarily struggled with like an addiction of like a drug or alcohol, but for food for me.
Mhm.
And so like when I was really unhappy, I remember I was in therapy at like 18 and I was crying to this guy that was a therapist and he was just like falling asleep. He was checked out. I was just a teenager. I didn't feel like he cared. I didn't really want to be there, but I felt like I was supposed to. Like that's what you do. You go talk to someone, but it was not helping me. But at the end of the session, he handed me a piece of paper and he was like, "Are you addicted to bread?" And I was like, "What the actual fuck? That's not what we're talking about, dude." And he was like, the hormones that you get from eating
My God.
carbohydrates will make you feel better."
Oh, oh my God. I'm sweating now from this conversation. Woo!
I know, I'm hot too, I'm hot. And he said that it's like giving me dopamine. Like when I eat and I'll like
Yes.
carbs are like I think a lot of
Yeah.
us eat heavy carbs, like, the fast
Yep.
food and the crappy food,
I'm
right?
chips. I'm chips.
Yeah, and because it can release chemicals in the brain of like I think it's dopamine or serotonin or whatever it is, and it makes you the feel good hormones, and so
Right.
you get more and more, and you crave more. So that's like the binge eating disorder kind of came from. And I was able to identify that I would go secretly, like in my car, eat, and I almost got up to 300 pounds, and I was in severe chronic physical pain, and that was also abusive to my body. But
Yeah.
people don't judge it necessarily always the same way as a substance. But I'm still hurting, and I'm still coping and numbing because I feel sad inside. And
Yeah.
so when our children are hurting and our children are numbing or we have self-harm or we're cutting ourselves or those types of things, it's because they want to feel or they don't want to feel.
Yes.
And if we just teach what I do, nervous system regulation, and I don't use medication, and as an OT, I can't prescribe medication, but I do frequency music, solfeggio frequencies. I do
Love
tuning
that.
forks.
I
I
do
do,
that. I don't
yeah.
use
Oh
medicine at
my,
all anymore. I just
I don't
use frequencies. Yep.
I don't use any medicine anymore other than like
Yep.
Tylenol for a headache or my cramps,
Mhm.
right? But then I will do deep breathing, vagus nerve stimulation, rubbing my ears, doing peace
Yep.
fingers, rubbing in front of and behind my ears, stroking my neck, doing emotional freedom tapping, like I am
Mhm.
safe, I am safe, doing fear paralysis tapping.
Yep.
Like I do reflex integration, I do sensory integration, I do all these different things that I use on little tiny humans on myself and I teach it to other parents and adults who are dysregulated. And I'm doing the caregiver healing program at my company because the parents are so dysregulated because they have a dysregulated child.
Right.
And I think that we're all always doing the best that we can at any given moment.
Yes.
And the fact that you can see that in your son and still love him unconditionally, even if it's hard, even if it's messy,
Yeah.
like he is worth
Exactly.
loving
Oh
unconditionally.
God.
You are
Yes.
worth loving unconditionally.
Right.
And even if he doesn't always say it or anyone who's listening, if your loved one is not saying that they love you or they're not acting like they love you, they do. They're just hurting profoundly in a way that you cannot yet understand.
Right.
Listen, be present, sit with
Yep.
them.
Yep.
Like sometimes all you need is a hug.
Yeah. And all he wants is to be heard. He felt like
Mhm.
he was not heard as a child.
That
So
hurts. I
that's
know what that
yeah,
feels like.
it's sad.
It's sad, but
Heartbreaking.
it's not necessarily anyone's fault because you didn't know and he didn't have the way to express it in a way that you could know probably. And I didn't feel seen to or heard growing up at times. And it didn't mean my parents were bad people. It meant that they had all of their own stuff still going on too. And I think that's what children, as a child who did experience a lot, we don't know that our parents don't have all the tools. We expect our adults in our life to have everything figured out. But
Right.
as a parent who's caring for two small children myself, I didn't have it all figured out. And then as I woke up, I was reparentifying myself.
Right. And
And
how
I think
lucky are you? But now that we're spiritual, Now that we know that we're spiritual beings here having a human experience, we knew we picked our parents. We
Mhm.
knew the experiences we need to learn. We knew that we needed that hardship. And I know that my son Blake needed to go what he went through so
Mhm.
he can skyrocket
Oh, yeah. And he's probably a deeply creative person.
big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
ADHD, he can see spirits too, and he's going to get there.
He will get there, and I think, like, love is this healing frequency, and I think that we sometimes get scared and we wanna do fear-driven modalities, but the frequency of love and authenticity and unconditional, like, support is very, very, very powerful, and
Mhm.
so I know that he's gonna be okay because he chose this path, he chose
Yeah.
you. The light is shining on your face, like, you just lit up. I don't know if you can see it on my screen. I see you're, like, radiating right now.
Oh, really? That's
Yes, and
funny.
so I just feel like what comes next is gonna be better than any of you can expect because this is what we're here for. This is what
Right.
we came for,
Yeah.
and you're gonna show the way. You're gonna have a testimony. He's gonna have a testimony. Your whole family's gonna have a testimony,
Yeah.
and I'm excited for better days for you all because I
Oh,
know it's
thank you.
tough.
And that's how I feel about for everybody because I
Mhm.
know there are better days.
There are. Absolutely, there are. So when you think about your own family struggles, the things that you've walked through, has that inspired you to create anything for the collective, for humanity, for anyone who's waking up to help build their family dynamics?
Yes. So when my kids were little, they would come home from school. We'd have dinner when we could at the dinner table
Mhm.
if there weren't sports and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And they always knew that the first question I would ask is, what did you do today to help somebody?
Oh, that's a good
And
question.
yeah. And of course, they're little kids. Oh, I held the door for somebody. Like every other day was I held the door for somebody. But it was just getting their mind to start thinking in that giving and loving way.
Mhm.
Obviously, what's the best thing that happened to you today, and so on and so forth. So I created, and I'm actually creating a card deck for families to be able to pull these ideas and bring these light, shining ideas to stick in their brain throughout the day, something they can talk about at dinner, something that they can, when they're lying in bed right after they're done reading a book, say, I'm enough just the way I am. And then go to sleep with that thought. I mean,
Mhm.
just such a beautiful thought. I have so many of them. Like,
Share some of the things
like
that you have.
these are little thoughts for kids. The kids already know. And then
Mhm.
they get here and, little traumas here and there happen to them. And you know, we don't want them to forget as quickly as we forgot. So
Right.
that's why I'm creating this deck. Um, choose to see the good in someone today. So easy to not do that.
It
Um,
is.
my smile can brighten somebody's day. Today, I will lead with love. And these are
Mm.
little ideas that a parent can grab right when they're getting in the car to go to school and say, okay, what's the card today? What are we going to try to think about today? I can always begin again.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one.
I trust I trust myself to make good choices. I can handle challenges with courage today. And, I've got 66 of them. But just some I really crave bringing light into people's life.
Mhm.
And I notice that I tend to do it with a phrase or a affirmation.
Mhm.
When somebody's talking, all of a sudden an affirmation will come into my head that just says exactly what they're saying perfectly. you know?
Oh, yeah. It's so funny because some of the ones that you said when I was doing tuning forks on someone today, I was on their solar plexus and I was just hearing, I don't feel like I'm enough. I don't feel like I'm enough. And so the mantra was, I am enough just as I am. I am who I am, and that is more than enough. And like
Yeah,
these mantras of the same kinds of things were coming up, and I just hear it. Like I'm not being told by them what they need to hear. I'm
right.
just sitting with the energy and I feel what they need to hear. And that's that clairsentience, claircognizance combo. I think it's a really common combination that people just don't know about. And it's such a beautiful thing to be able to give someone an affirmation because it will stick with them. It
Yes.
really, really sticks with them. Like I remember when people told me that, like what my friend told me, "You're just a human having a human experience. It's okay to feel and cry." And I'm like, "Oh, it's been 2.5 years and I still remember it like it was 1 minute ago."
Yes.
And so I think what you're doing is beautiful. I can't wait. Where can people find these eventually when they're completed?
I'm going to, throw them on TikTok, first of all, because that's where I am.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm also going to open an Etsy shop, I believe.
Oh,
I'm also
cool.
writing a children's book as well,
That's
um,
awesome.
with the same concept, but with a storyline.
Okay.
Um, I I gotta get this. Hold on.
Okay. Pause. Time out. Oh, I like your blanket. It says shine bright.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, my daughter was 8 years old, and she had this
Okay.
little book, which is so not cute, and she would write little things in here every night, and this is what the book is gonna be based off of. Be the reason someone smiles today. Um,
Oh,
love everyone. I feel happy for others. Be giving today. So all of this came from this little book of ideas, and she wrote this whole book. Be respectful of other people. Don't let anyone change who you are. I mean, she was freaking 8 years old, just writing these little things. The
that is
golden
amazing.
rule. So, the book is going to be based on my two kids. There, no one's going to know, and a day in their life, and how you can use these thoughts to change a situation.
Oh, I love that so
So
much.
that's my next project.
Once it's published, tell me because or
Okay.
like advertise it everywhere so I can get one for here for my company because I really want kids to have a greater sense of self-esteem
Yeah.
and also knowing the importance of their love, their presence, their existence because
Mhm.
kids at an early age, like we do start getting programmed by our environments, by our family, our friends, our
Yeah.
systems, our school, our teacher, right?
Yep.
And it's really easy to have those negative beliefs by the age of 3.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy to think that you could, but people know who they are by 3 or 4. I have a 6-year-old and she was saying things at 3 that I was like, "Whoa, that's really profound for a
Yes.
toddler." But
Yes.
they are very awakened before they're dulled, before they're programmed. And I think that
100%.
children are just especially children nowadays, like my kids are so awake, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And
Isn't
it's
that
just
so
so
cool?
beautiful. It is. I love it. I
I
love
wish I
it.
could have been like that for my children. And the things that I learn now that, that the darkness tries to get them in the middle of the night, to get them afraid. Let's get the afraid. Let's get them, let's have them be full of fear now, with the
Mm,
closet situation and the darkness. And if I had known that, I wouldn't have been tough love. Go back to bed. Come here,
right,
baby. Come
right.
here. I'm so sorry you're feeling like this. And I did that to a certain extent, but I was so tired. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
wanted them to go back to bed.
Oh, I know, same. So,
Yeah.
real fast, because I haven't shared this yet, but my little one she's 6 now, almost 7, and, her name's Hazel, and I love her so, so much,
Oh,
and she sees things,
that's
and
awesome.
I did not know that she was seeing things for a long time, and she was like, "Mommy, I'm so scared of my bed. I'm scared of my bed. I'm scared of my room," and I was like, "Okay, let's just stop and let's talk. What's going on?" And she started describing things and drawing things and speaking, and I was like, "Oh, no." And so then I got my
Or,
energy
oh,
healing.
yeah.
Well, yes, yes, that she can see both. Like, she can see angels, she
Yep.
can see the other, but, like, she would see things attacking me and, like, other crazy stuff, and all of a sudden, like, she got
Oh,
saged. One day, she started doing Reiki, and I was like, "How the heck are you even doing this?" Like, at 4 or 5 years old, like, what is happening?
how cool.
It's a very intense experience for sure, and when I had my friends tap in, like, that darkness was trying to use Hazel's light, and it was actually a pretty frightening experience, and when we cleared out everything energetics are real, like, dark energy is real. And I think that's a really
Yeah.
important like piece of this puzzle is like, yes, there's the light and we're angels and light workers. I get that. I love that for us. But there's contrast, right? The yin and the yang, like the polarity, duality of light and dark is very, very real. And so
Yes.
our children are very sensitive to this. And so the fact that you're saying, if I wish I would have known now, I wish I would have known like a year ago, not even 20 years ago, like
Yeah.
a year ago, that she was actually feeling and seeing and experiencing things that were really real. And then once we got all those energetics gone, everything is easy. We sleep easily in our bed. There's no problems. Like all that kind of stuff is gone. But yeah, it's kids are super sensitive. Kids are super sensitive. I think they're here to be our teachers too.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, especially
Yeah.
that generation. And I think probably the most important thing to like, something I just want the world to know is to have no fear,
Mm,
because that's what's holding everybody back, including myself with speaking my truth. But I'm talking about being controlled, you know, the government, the schools, the religion, um, the food, the
mm.
pharmaceuticals. We can go on and on and on and on.
Oh,
But
yeah.
once we realize that all of this is happening to create fear to control us, then we can break the ceiling. I mean, we could get deep into conspiracies and blah, 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 blah. I hate the word conspiracy because that's a
True.
negative, it's a negative connotation, isn't it? It's like,
It
well, that's
is.
just a conspiracy. Don't think about it. But it's more,
We can call it a hard truth. It's a
okay.
hard truth. It's a hard truth. These conspiracies are hard truths that are difficult to digest and swallow, is what
Yeah.
I feel like, because we're waking up to things being filtered through the matrix and you're like, man, that's a big illusion. That one is if they're telling me to look this way, I should probably look that way. Like once you just know the playbook, because now we have the playbook, you can't be deceived. And I think that's
No.
what Jesus talks about in the Bible. And I don't consider myself to be religious in any capacity, but I've read some of the Bible. And, when Jesus is talking about you have to have eyes to see and ears to hear, like, I think it just means the deprogrammed ears and eyes, because once you
Oh, I like
see
that.
and hear,
Yeah.
then you can't be deceived any longer. And that's where the control is. The control is in the deception.
Yep.
But
And the fear.
yeah, completely. I think this is what I've been saying this week is if you're feeling fear, you're out of alignment. If you're feeling love, you're in alignment. It is like
Yes.
that rudimentary.
Yep.
And there are forces, there's organizations, there's tactics to keep us in fear so that we can't find ourselves, so we can't be in a place of peace and understanding and compassion and oneness. And, I think it's just a really important message to kind of end on is to stay out of fear. As we rise and as you awaken, you will interface and interact with contrast of the light
Yes.
and the dark, but you are safe. You are safe and you can get through this and use our tips of like regulating your nervous system when it gets scary to get through it because I did walk through a ton of fear for a really long time. And now I just don't. If
Me either.
something's happening, I'm like, "Oh, I'm supposed to learn something. I guess I've got more to learn," and I'm not
Yep.
afraid. It's a different
And
energy.
and love through it.
Love through it.
Love the fear, and it just disappears.
So true. I'm telling you, when I had dark attacks that were really, really frightening for my family and my children and my husband to witness, when I was, like, mad, like, "Go away, like, that energy of, like, "Leave me alone," or cussing, it
Yes,
got
yes.
more powerful, and when
Yes.
I said, "I love you, God loves you," it fled.
Yep.
It fled, and, like, if I in Yeshua, like, Jesus, I was like, "I am surrounded and loved by Jesus, leave," and that worked, like,
Yep, my
it's
mother used
so
to do
weird.
that. That's so funny you said that.
It's a message for her then, from her is, like, that is so real. It is so real that if you invoke that, it helps, and it gives you peace, and it makes everything remember that it's all one, even the darkness.
Yeah, it's all one.
Thank you so much, Janine. Do you have anything else for the collective or anyone who's waking up or interested in what we're talking about? Do you have any piece of advice other than staying out of fear, staying in love?
That's really important. Love is so important, but what's even more important is authenticity.
Mhm,
Being yourself through love, and man, you're gonna fly. And that's what we're
mhm,
here to do, to create, be authentic, and to love, and to feel.
absolutely. You must feel to heal. On that note, thank you so much. So
Thank you, Amber.
Oh, this was so much fun. I
It
really
was
enjoyed
awesome.
myself. So, thank you so much to everyone listening or watching. This is again Light Beyond the Ashes. I'm your host, Amber Humphrey. And I want to always remind you that when I heal, you heal. When you heal, I heal. And when we heal, we rise. We're in this together. We've got this. Keep going.